We are live. It's me,
Hey.
it's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. Welcome to another episode of Beast Friends Forever. And I've got my good friend Tim or TJ, as you've been seeing. I never knew
Tim
what
works.
to say for sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's on the book. It says TJ. I better not just say Tim. But anyway,
my initial
we got
books had Tim, and people kept
Yeah.
telling me, you got to go with anyone who knew my middle name was Joshua.
Yeah.
They were all like, you got to do, come on. Initials, man. Authors have initials. Use them. And I was
That's
just,
true.
okay. So I bit the bullet. Yeah.
One, it does flow nice. It rhymes
It
too,
does.
right?
Yeah,
TJ,
it does.
McKay.
Yeah.
It sounds cool.
I like it. So, yeah. I think there was only one. Most of my life I went by Tim, but there was one summer I had a job, with all new people, a bunch of French Canadian scientist people in the science department at the university. It was the weirdest job I've ever had. And for whatever reason, I forget how it came up, but they found out and they started calling me TJ. And that was my name all summer long. And it was awesome. So part of me, it's like this is a bit of a throwback to that. I'm like, you know what? I've never done it before, but I like it. Cool. I can do it.
It's got a little extra special something into it. I like it. Oh man, let's give a shout out to some people. Of course, we got the other Tim, because when there's one, there's got to be both.
Yeah, the democracy is here in force always.
That's right. Alex is here. Howdy, howdy. The other Alex is here also. Hello, my friend. Shane's here. What's up? And I think that's all the people saying hi so far. So if people are trickling in, but we'll get already. It is. It's an awesome crew already.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, thanks for being on here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, especially on today of all days.
Oh yeah, it's a big day. It's a big day. So I'll let you real quick, introduce yourself. Tell us in your own words about your book and tell us why today is such a big day for anybody that in this community that was living under a rock somehow and doesn't already know. Please let us know.
Yeah, well, I'm Tim McKay, or TJ McKay, as it now says on my books. And so I'm a fantasy and bit of hints of sci-fi author here in Ottawa, Canada. Beautiful capital of Canada. I'm also a freelance editor on the side, and I've just started teaching at the college here. So after a whole lot of, a stupid amount of university and post, just let's not get into all that. But after my university years and government work years, very brief, but let's not get into that either. Oh my gosh, what a pass. Anyways, I went into a writing program, did that as well and loved it. And that's around the time I had started writing. I actually started writing before going in. So I graduated from that program about 2 years ago now, I guess. And they hit me up maybe 6 months ago or so and asked if I could fill in for a professor teaching a course last semester. And now they've asked me to come back. So apparently it went somewhat well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's kind of where I'm at. It's a whole lot of different gigs at the same time, keeping me busy. And I love it. And writing is just my daily thing, Oh,
yeah. It sounds like you love all the gigs. So that's good.
Yeah, it's a nice place to be. If you'd asked me 10 years ago, I would have said, no. I want stability. I want security. And now I'm like, give me everything. I want the chaos. I love it. It's a lot of fun. When you like what you do, you've got the fire under you and just keep going.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, most people don't have one job they love, and you've got multiple.
Yeah. But I mean, they're all part-time, really. So you choose your poison,
Very true. Very true. Yeah, you kind of have to do them all, right?
Yeah. So that's me on the life side. On the book side, so I started writing really just a few years ago. I've loved reading fantasy and thrillers. I don't read as much sci-fi in terms of space opera and things like that. I do like some, but I've always loved fantasy, historical fiction, and tech thrillers for whatever reason. And so eventually all these ideas swimming around I had been an editor during my university years quite a bit. So I worked for academic journals. I was editor-in-chief of some student journals. And I kind of, at that time, I started exploring writing techniques and skills because I thought it'd be useful for my editing work. But it turned out the more I did it, the more I realized, wait, I can do this thing I've always loved. Now that I'm learning the skills, because I always saw writing, especially fiction, I always saw it as more artistic, as more this like, you either have it or you don't, you know. That
Yeah.
was my mentality, and I just assumed I didn't. I barely even put my foot in the door when I was much younger, and I just thought, maybe not, I'll come back to this eventually. And yeah, so finally I don't know, a few years ago, someone encouraged me just at a certain time in my life, just start putting some words on paper, see what happens. So it was small at first, just a few hundred words a day, and that very quickly adds up. You know, next thing you know, I was looking at half of a short book, which I expanded to a full book, and put that out, got feedback, refined it. You know, that's what I ended up republishing as what we're talking about today. You know, and yeah, so that turned into a 3-part book. You know, so instead of publishing 3 separate books, I turned it into a single. I like the style more. I like a chunky fantasy.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I initially launched what you see behind you there on, and I guess behind me as well. The early cover, designed by Rachel Bostwick, and she did my earlier covers as well. And I love the style. I love the wraparound binding, like the border and the simplicity.
Yeah.
To me, that was exactly what I wanted, you know. Yeah. But by the time I was ready to publish this larger, much better edited version of the story, I had already been looking into illustrators. So, you know, it was tough. Different illustrators have different schedules and different pay rates. And the plan was always to eventually get an illustrated cover. But the way things were looking, it was going to be a year from now or more. And then, you know, pretty significant costs. But at the same time, I got internal illustrations. So those are, I usually show them off on my Twitter feed, but I have them here as well. So nice.
Okay.
So I've got these black and white, you know, illustrations, one for each part of the book by Joe Requesa. And so when I got him to do those, one, really fair rate, really fair cost. And the turnover rate was increased. He said, you know, hey, yeah, I can do that for you a month from now. And it took him less than a month, I think, to get, it was about a month total, really, to get all 3 done. And they're incredible quality, you know, and incredibly fair price, incredibly quick turnaround. And I immediately thought, this guy's a god.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. And 2, I thought, why am I not just asking Joe? You know, I don't know why. Until I saw those, it didn't even cross my mind. You know, I just had my heart set on one direction, but when I saw his talent, I thought, oh, no, this is my guy. Yeah. So I just asked, I said, when, you know, if you know, if you were willing, would you be able to do a full wraparound color illustration? And next thing you know, we had that planned. You know, I had my first payment down, and today was the launch of that illustrated cover.
Oh, man. So cool, dude. All right. So I have a page. I'm going to try to share my screen. If it works, awesome. Because it has those the inside and illustrations on it too, so we can show those off. If it doesn't work, then we'll keep going. But I want to give a shout out to a couple people that came in before we do that. Christopher Brand is here. Hello, thank you for being here. Britton's here. What's up, Britton?
Howdy, Britton.
Avid book junkie popping in to say hi before he hits the gym. All right, man. Way to make me feel bad.
Yeah, that's hurting my soul. Are you trying to send us a message here or something?
But glad you popped in, dude. Thank you. And then Nick's here.
Good old Nick.
He's hate watching right now.
Yeah. He hates me. You know what it is? You know, now at this point we should develop some sort of fake selfie rivalry. You have your car selfies, and I have my either do them in my office here or down in my entrance as I'm walking in. Because whenever I get a book from someone or I buy a book from someone, I have to take a selfie now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Oh man. Well, thanks everybody that's in here. And one thing I want to show too is Alex from Scandria made a good point. He said the new cover is awesome. And then he said, but now it makes the cover that we have is going to be even rarer, and we can brag when your book hits it big now, even bigger now. Yeah.
I mean, it is now, the original cover is now a limited edition. It is not, it's, you know, there's a way, no, really, it would be very tough for me. I would have to essentially take the new one down, there's nope. So this is if you got it in advance, technically, if you want one, you can still get one until they make the change on Amazon. So the new cover is up for ebook, but
I'm still waiting. Completed?
Yeah,
I saw
So
you do
it's
that a
been
few hours ago. That you
Oh,
were
it's been
at the
like 10
Oh
hours. 10
man,
hours. Yeah. They did
man.
the ebook within an hour
Yeah.
and it's 10 hours.
Ah,
It's always a little bit slower for
yeah.
Amazon to update the physical copies, but I've never seen it this bad. So I'm like,
Oh,
I'm not too worried. They approved
right.
the ebook, so and I know for a fact everything's fine. Like, I'm not
Oh
worried.
yeah.
But come on, guys, hurry up.
I know. All right. Tim had a good question. I'm gonna try to do my screen. I'm gonna try to do a screen sharing real
Oh,
quick
this is
here.
great.
Let's see how this goes. I want this. Yes. Wait. Yeah, this page. Sorry, guys. I've never done this before, so hang with me. No, we don't want audio. We just want this. We want window. Nope. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Shoot. I want to do. Okay. Can you guys see that? Let me know.
Yeah.
Can you see it, Tim?
Yeah, I can see. I mean,
Right.
we've got about half of the page right now. So
Yes,
I'm assuming that's
I
what's on
think
your
I have to
screen.
go. I thought I could scroll through here, but I think I have to go to the page. Can you? Maybe not.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't have access on my end. Yeah.
Share this tab instead. Can you?
There we go.
It's not letting me move.
I mean, that's perfect though. That's the full cover.
Yeah, that is true. It does show that. Let's start there, and then I'll try to go back to this other page to show the inside illustrations. But so Tim had said, "How did you get such great quotes for the back of the book? Tell us about that process."
Tim is being not so what's the word,
You're being a
clandestinely
little coy,
selfish
right?
when he says that. Yeah, it's pretty good. I love it. First quote on the book. Yeah.
Yep. I can't
So
beat
yeah,
that.
I mean, and I'll say right off the bat, Tim has been one of the guys who's just been there all the way through, from when I first stepped into the community, and we've gone back and forth since. And and he read the initial version, has the initial version, Rise of Dreska, still on his shelf, and and we've talked a lot back and forth, been a huge support all the way through. So when I first put out The Fall of Selvandrea with the original cover, he was one of the first to read and review it, and a few others. And I reached out to just some other authors who had read it, and had some great things to say about it. I said, do you mind if I use these quotes that you've given? And with Tim, he was like, here, he gave me this fresh, epic quote. I love it. Just nice and simple and sweet. And it's perfect. So,
Oh, it is.
and to me, I think you showed on the the original version. It's I love it, but it's a lot of text. It's
right.
It's a that you can get all that information on Amazon, the book blurb and description, and some authors will put that on the inside now. But I think and I know I'm like this, and this is the feedback I've gotten from a lot of people. What they want to know, give me the basic facts that will sell your story, and I can read the blurb online.
Yeah, true.
Even the author bits, like you can find that elsewhere. Here now on this back cover, what you see is a little, in the marketing world, what they call social proof. You have it on good authority that this is, as Tim says, an epic and glorious tale. The next quote gives us, it tells us it's fantasy with sci-fi flair. Like that's if that's up your alley, then perfect. See, you're gonna love this book. That's what I want to communicate. Man. It worked. So, I think it works much better in my opinion.
I do too.
And the design, I love it. Rachel is so good.
Oh, it looks so good, man. Real quick, just got to point out that everyone making fun of us, well, mostly me, not so much you, because you have nothing to do with it. But I know how to share a screen. I've never done it in StreamYard.
Nick throwing shade.
Shane.
How do I say this?
That was pretty rough. I'll give you guys that. But
that's so good.
So you carried over the cool design of like the I don't know, what do you call this?
The borders.
The borders.
Yeah.
You carried that over. It looks awesome. Tell me a little bit about this scene though. Like, how did you decide on this scene? Did you kind of always know that was what you were going to do? Did you have to think about it a lot?
It was pretty instant when I was thinking about the final scene or what scene to have on the cover. I wanted something iconic. There was one possible scene from closer to the middle of the book, but this isn't quite the end. This isn't quite the final, finale, but this is a very pivotal, epic moment in the story. And this doesn't even fully showcase. If I intentionally we talking with Joe, we had the possibility of throwing a little bit more on. And we thought, no, let's. I even said, no, it's gonna be too busy. Let's keep the focus on these two characters, and we can leave the dragons for inside the book.
Nice.
I might live. I don't think I'll live to regret that decision. I love this.
I don't think so. Yeah, this cover is awesome, man. So this is this the MC?
Yeah, so this is the main character, Valderis Draskar is his name.
Nice.
Yeah, or Vald for short, but I don't know. Valderis has a nice epic sound to it, so yeah. And so the story itself, are they two-legged? Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna get myself hurt, for what I say next. So no, they are two-legged with they're Skyrim style dragons with some extra flair, is how I'll describe them visually.
I like it.
The very first dragon you encounter is very fun. I better not say more so I don't spoil it, but I do have some fun spins on dragons I'm actually pretty proud of. And then for kicks, to troll everyone who says, those aren't dragons, those are wyverns, in book 2, I've introduced wyverns, and they're nothing like the wyverns you have in mind, just to say, screw off.
That's right. You proved them wrong.
It's lovely. Yeah, they have 3 tails, and anyway, I won't even go into it. It's great.
Oh, man, I cannot wait.
Yeah,
okay, so I need to ask, because people are going to want to know when they look at this sweet cover. Is this a flaming sword? Is this like a lightsaber type sword?
That is a flaming crystal sword.
Ooh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So there's more to it too, but that's what I can tell you for now. It is a crystal sword, and if you can't zoom in here, but he got the detail so well just on that blade to give it that effect. And I love how the flame just stands out. It draws your eye. Yeah, I mean. Anyway, yeah, he just absolutely nailed it. And the glowing ruby, which I won't give details on, but that's pivotal. The initial cover, the old one, the Rise of Dreska, had a ruby on the cover because of how significant that is. Okay. I guess I fall into some of the tropes like magical weapons for sure, unapologetically.
You can't go wrong with that trope. Everybody loves that trope.
Yeah, I saw another cover reveal a few months ago, and it had a character with a flaming sword, and I mean, I have to admit, it wasn't it was an okay cover. It wasn't the best, but I was like,
it wasn't this cover.
It wasn't this cover, yeah. But someone threw shade at it. They said, "Oh, great, another fantasy character with a flaming sword," and I was just like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, what planet are you from?
They're not awesome. A real fantasy fan.
Alex just said, yeah, magical weapons is like the least controversial trope ever. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, thanks for being here. They said, when are you getting a replica? That's what I want to know.
That is a great question, and I think that's Raven. I feel like that's probably Raven. Is that right? Anyways, if I'm correct about that, we were classmates in the writing program I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
So that's awesome. Yeah, glad you're here.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and we were co-editor in chief together too of the anthology. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah, very good to see you. Yeah. So, that's in the works. Funny enough, I have a Lord of the Rings longsword already, and I have one of the Lord of the Rings elf swords. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
Actually, the one I have here.
Hey, you got one of them near close by?
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, look at
this one I keep above my desk. So
that is sweet.
This is the sword I used to smash my keyboard on video a few months ago.
Let's zoom in so we can see that better.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh yeah, that's sweet. That's the one that you destroyed the keyboard with.
Yeah. So I have that on video in this office, just taking it to my stupid Bluetooth keyboard that gave out. I was so upset.
Yes, where can everyone find this famous video if they have not seen it yet? Where's the best place to find it?
It was initially on X, and it's probably in my highlights section there, but easiest at this point, I have a TikTok, and I think those are the only videos I've uploaded there because I just don't use it. So that's going to be easy to find if you go on TikTok.
Yeah, not many to scroll through, right?
Yeah, it should be Tim McKay 52. So that's nice and easy for you.
All right, now let's take a look at these sweet interior illustrations. So you can tell us about these.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boom. There they are.
Yeah.
Oh. Right. So
when Joe did these, blown away, and all 3 scenes straight out of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And just it's such a fun process working with an illustrator like this. You just give the details and he just rolls with it. You ask for a few little tweaks, and he's the kind of, he's such dedication to detail. You give him 2 things to change and he'll change 5 and make them all better, you know. Next thing you know, you're looking at this masterpiece and you have no idea how they do it so well, you know.
Amazing looking, man.
Yeah. So you have one for each part in the book. So you have you have Rise of Dreska. I kept that as the name of the part. You have Seas of the Zova, and you have Fall of the Selvar. And so this is the first one. There is the same character we see on the cover.
Oh, yeah. I wondered,
but a lot has changed in his life by the time we get there. So very unassuming character. Other characters describe him as kind of middling, as the kind of person who the way I think about it from the author standpoint, this is a character with very little agency. Someone who comes into the world and lets it pull him along. Very not disenfranchised, but disillusioned. Very not critical, but just doesn't care, doesn't have a cause, doesn't have a passion, doesn't have a purpose. You know, and you kind of follow this character go through some really intense, dark moments, and very early in the story. And in ways you won't understand right away, those dark events transform him beyond just the horror of what's happening. And a lot of the book deals with that chaos and that the theme of evil so chaotic and pervasive and powerful that you don't even know what you're dealing with. And that's sometimes what life is like. You know, you get thrown in the deep end and you're trying to crawl your way out and you don't even understand what you're facing.
Right.
You know, and that's this guy to a T. And by the end, he's holding a flaming sword going up again. And that's all you need to know for now. Yeah.
Oh, man. That is awesome. Those are gorgeous, man.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, Joe nailed it. Yeah. I mean, the other two quick, you've got, I tell people this is flintlock fantasy. So there's a lot of crossover, and I take some liberties intentionally. It is a fantasy world. So technologically, you've got some medieval elements. You've got a lot of flintlock elements. So in the Napoleonic era, frigates and ships at sea, and muskets and cannons and things like that.
That's awesome.
But you have a lot of medieval weapons as well. There's certain medieval technologies used, and just civilization kind of on the brink of that revolution. Yeah, and at the same time, then obviously, clearly, you have lots of magic and dragons and monsters of every kind, and it's only tip of the iceberg. I can't wait to add more in the next books.
Heck yeah, dude! Yeah. We got a couple more friends come in. Molly is here.
Hey, Molly.
She said the illustrations are gorgeous.
Yeah,
I agree. And then Britton said, "Flintlock, you say I'm in." I agree, Britton. This is exciting. Oh man! All right.
Yeah, I love the trend. I love seeing more. While I mentioned I read historical fiction, most of my favorite historical fiction comes from kind of those periods. Like I love the Three Musketeers. Even more than Three Musketeers, I love Count of Monte Cristo. That's probably one of my 2 favorite books ever.
So good.
Yeah. And then the other one would be Les Mis by Victor Hugo.
Okay.
And then if you've ever seen, probably like most people haven't read the books, but have you ever seen Master and Commander with Russell Crowe?
Yeah.
So I've read, I think I stopped about 14 books out of 20. So I feel like I still did it justice, and I still have them.
Yeah, you did.
Such good books though, like just very rich writing. And I love that period. I love immersion in that kind of history.
Yeah. I didn't even know there was that many of those books. I knew that was based on a book, but dang.
Yeah, no, there's a full, I think the movie ties in, it's in the title itself, it's Master and Commander, Far Side of the World. Those are 2 books. Those are the titles of 2 separate books. It's like 1 and 13. For whatever reason, they combined the first and the 13th. Dang. And then they have quotes in that movie from at least 5 other books. It's really, if you pay attention, since I read them, I knew, there's that.
Okay, that's pretty cool then. Oh, man. That's
very well done movie. So if you like that, you would like the books.
Okay. How old are the books?
Oh, good question. I've got, let's see. I have them over my desk right here.
It's like Mary Poppins' bag up there. You pull a sword out.
I've got a dagger. I've got quite a bit up there. Yep. I like to be prepared. I mean, 95, 93. They're older than that. Okay, I might have to Google it. This is a new enough edition that I don't think that's going to be helpful.
So they're pretty older though.
Oh yeah, I feel like they're older for sure, and they're very. Maybe it's just the quality of the writing because they make you feel immersed in that period.
Oh
You know,
wow,
which
that's
I don't
good.
always like. Some writing that is too enriched like that, so it
Oh
feels
yeah,
purple. It feels
yep,
too verbose.
yeah,
I
too
actually
much.
stop
Yeah,
enjoying.
yeah,
It's not
I
my writing
agree.
style. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm just picky that way. I like a simpler. I like something that pulls you in, is
yeah,
fast paced, and
yeah.
is easy to read.
Same.
Give
Yeah,
me rich vocabulary so I feel like I'm learning as I
yeah.
do it, but not so rich that I'm
Right. Yeah.
stalled every 5 words.
No, I'm the same way. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. So, so I don't forget. You keep mentioning the next book, things that you're putting in. So how is the book 2 going, and what are you like long term? What are you thinking for book 2? And then how many books do you think this series will be? Do you have other things planned? Like, what's your writing future plans, just in general? Obviously, you don't know specific
Yeah,
dates.
no. So for this, I do have other plans already kind of in the works, and I'll get to that really briefly.
Nice.
So the sequel, I'm about 50,000 words in. So
Okay.
that's roughly a third of what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for somewhere between 150,000 and 170-ish. That would be my upper limit,
Okay.
which would be about the same length as
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm closing. I'm on the final. I think two. I want to add a third. I think just the way
Okay.
it's happened.
Yeah.
But I'm on the final second or third last chapter of the first
Okay.
book. Like it's
Oh,
it's at that wrap up point right
nice.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. So where this story is going, I have no intention of doing this, but technically there is a way I could end it as a duology. I have no intention of doing that.
Okay.
The next, in my mind, the minimum this is going to be is a trilogy, and I can wrap it up there too. See, I'm about half and half between a pantser and a plotter.
Okay.
So I know where I'm going. I
Yeah.
have pretty good notes and I have a rough outline. I'm pretty good at following, but I'm very open to changing that. And I did, even for the first book, I made some radical changes that took it in such better direction, So I try to anticipate those. The way this story is meant to be, it has 2, maybe 3 potential endings.
Okay.
One of those, is maybe a little bittersweet, but leaves opportunity for more books to then take it to a stronger resolution, which would be fun. I would like to give this story its due, and I think that's longer than 3 books.
Okay.
Yeah, but I also, if I don't know, if I just get to a point where my heart is set on a different story,
Right.
I also have a bit of a very dark, twisty ending I could throw at people,
Man.
and I'm so tempted because it's so fun. To me, like I like every once in a while killing a beloved character, and I really like this dark ending. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. Play your cards right. Be nice to me, everyone who likes this book, and I'll but. It's so tempting because it's it works. It's with this. Anyways, I won't spoil that.
You got to find a way to do the dark, twisted ending, but then somehow leave it open slightly for a version of your other idea.
I'm genuinely very tempted to do that third book with the happier, open. It's not open ended. There's resolution, but there's clear progression towards more of the story coming next. And then I'm tempted to add a prologue and say, I'll literally write on the page before that, if you like happy endings, skip this prologue. There'll be another book for you later. And then the prologue itself will be the dark slapping your face thing that I have in mind. Yeah. So I'll give everyone what they want, maybe.
Well, there you go. Timothy says, give us a happy ending.
It's a happy ending. Yeah. I get it. I do. I get it. Yeah.
But they say what you said. Do both. Make people fight over what happened in the ending.
Yeah.
And
the
real one.
It could work. Yeah. So beyond that, I mean, I've called this, I label it dark Flintlock fantasy. And I feel that's fitting, but dark, it's tough. This is by no means grim dark. It's not, I tell people it's clean. There's even language wise, I make the language fit the context, but there's minimal swearing overall. Violence, I describe the violence as intense but not grotesque.
Okay.
And I feel like that's fair. So I think people who like cleaner are going to enjoy it. I've been told it's scary, and I mean, I kind of went for that at
That's
parts.
good. I like that.
I was going for hints of horror because to me, I love fantasy that portrays evil with hints of horror. You know, as an example, The Lord of the Rings, the movies in particular.
Mhm.
Well, I think one of the strengths of how they portray evil is you're genuinely scared, you know, in some parts, and I think that it adds to it. So I wanted that. There's some definite monster horror in my books. But yeah, so like, you know, clean, middle, I would say, again, very intense violence, you know, and some of it will catch you off guard for sure. So just brace yourself. But I don't think any of it is so much that, like, if you don't like grimdark, you won't hate this at all. Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, Tim. Absolutely true. I saw Fellowship when I was 10 years old, and Bilbo just, you know, going for the ring.
Yeah, that was freaky.
That scared the living daylights out of me. That's still just a masterpiece of cinema right there.
Oh, it is. It is. I agree. Oh man.
Yeah. So all that to say that, you know, my books, like they're dark. They're definitely dark, but there's hope and there's adventure and there's humor. I have some really fun humor thrown in there.
Good.
Yeah, you know, anyone who's read them will know the two. You've got Rinwen, one of the main characters, is this hilarious, you know, 9-year-old little girl, basically ADHD, just hyper wired, you know, scatterbrained and insanely powerful, which kind of makes it interesting.
Oh
you
yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then you've got these two old men, and I won't say too much about them, except they know too much and they bicker and banter, and it's really great. Yeah, and so these fun little tidbits of humor get thrown in too, but it's just dark enough a story that when I was making the transition from book 1 to book 2, I kind of needed a bit of a palate cleanser. Even as I think as the author, you're so immersed in it. So I started writing a very fun story. That's that the protagonists are two young children. I'm going to flip back and forth between those two, you know, points of view, in a world that is basically just my imagination on free for all, and I love it. I love where the story is going. Again, I'm a combination of pantser plotter, so I have a pretty large, you know, scale idea of where it's headed. But it's so much fun. I love writing from a child's perspective. I learned that from writing Rin, her character Rinwen. Which is what
that's a good question. Yeah.
I went into it nervous. I wanted to write it. I had seen it done well by others, but I just wasn't sure what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
And within a few pages, I was like, "This is heaven." I love writing her chapters. They're so much fun because, you know, you can put yourself back in that age and just go wild. You know, that random impulse you have. You know, in the moment, you're just like, I'm going to do this, and you do it, and she does it.
You don't have to think things through
in this radical new direction that it was supposed to go to. But you know, it's just so fun and saying what she means when she means it. You know, you can have a lot of fun with a character like that. Yeah,
that's very cool. Oh man.
And I think Tim has even said this. You know, I think Tim mentioned to me at one point. You know, that those were some of his favorite chapters. He even says their best narrative voice.
Yep.
And I mean, I think part of the reason is when you're writing older, more thought out, more mapped out characters, it becomes a constraint, you know? When you let yourself go and just remember like why you got into this. For me, I got into this for that, not just escape. There's meant to be a purpose. It's meant to be enriching. It's meant to be fulfilling. But it's also an escape. It's also just a chance to let my imagination run wild and to explore new ideas and to have fun with it as you're doing it. It's meant to be fun, you know? Yeah. And so when you're having fun as the author, I think it bleeds onto the page, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's awesome, man. So first of all, how many, cause it sounds like it's multi POV, right?
Yeah. So this, So the new series I'm working on the side, just 2. I'm going to try to restrict it to those 2. Maybe I will. I don't know. I say that, but I'm still very early into it.
Yeah.
And I love multi POV books. I really do.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. So this very multi POV for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many do you have altogether?
I would have to count because it gets significant. Let's see. I mean, I know it's more than 10.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. So first part, I keep it to a few. So the first, I would say quarter of the book, give or take. You follow Valderis a lot early on. You follow Rin quite a bit, and you follow another character, Laren, and she's the prologue chapter, and then a few others in between. And then eventually that group groups up with another core set of characters, probably about 70, not 100, depends on the version you're reading, but about 75 pages into the book, you'll meet the rest of the core cast. And so then that's another 1, 2, 3, 4, and then sometimes I bring in another POV. So roughly, like, yeah. Anyways, yeah. That's so awesome. 8 to 10 is what you're focused on that initial group of people, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Now, being a pantser and a plotter, were all of those plotted out, or did some of them come about because of your pantser side?
A bit, for sure. Yeah, so a lot of those core characters were very intentional and had them mapped out. Some of the directions they've taken have been, as I've gone along, I'm like, oh, this has to happen. Right. This absolutely has to happen. Yeah, it's very fun. And then some I've thrown in, but on a whim. Like those 2 old men, that they only made it into the story because I had an encounter in real life that just I had to somehow write into fiction, and then they turned into a huge part of the story. That like I intentionally make sure they show up in every part of the book, and now even in the next book, like they always have to at least make one appearance per part because they're for where it's going. They're just a fun side but pivotal part of the story. But it all happened because I sat in a coffee shop one day and these 2 old men sat beside me and started bickering and joking off. And then they invited me into the conversation. Like, so funny. And so, yeah.
What were they fighting about? What conversation?
They were these 2 old men who were very, very good friends. You could tell they've been friends their whole lives. And so they were just, they were looking up something on the internet, I think. And at one point it got to talking about coffee. They were trying to find out the origin of coffee. And so they're rolling through like Reddit or something, which is really funny for old guys. But they're finding all the worst information possible. And I said, I think it was Ethiopia. I think something. And they were like, "Oh, what do you know, young whippersnapper?" They bring me, And then at one point, the one guy turns to the other guy. He says, "Oh, don't mind my friend. Whatever. He's only been to prison once or twice. And the guy's just the one guy was very loose and very not flamboyant, but very happy-go-lucky. And the other guy was very stern, except he had that dry, sarcastic humor, and I'm just having the time of my life. I went there to meet my sister for coffee, and here I am just like having a blast with these 2 old guys. One of the baristas comes by, or whatever you want to call them, and she comes by and grabs our stuff, but then they pull her in. They said, "Oh, you would be perfect. So the 3 of us, we're planning a heist. We're going to rob a bank. Do you want in?" "Yes, she wants in." "Okay, so what should we do?" And I'm just sitting there like dying laughing. This poor girl has no idea what's going on.
Did she play along with it?
Yeah, she did. She
awesome.
She had that moment of just like confusion, and then she joined the humor. We all had a good time. Yeah. So awesome. To me, that was an instant. I'm going to change your names. I'm going to slightly tweak your personalities. I'm going to add some backstory, but you 2 just made it into my book and you don't even know it. So someday I hope I get to thank them.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you still live by that coffee shop?
No, it's close enough that I can still go.
Maybe you'll see them there someday.
I intentionally every once in a while go back there, and part of me hopes I'll see them again.
Yeah. That would be cool. Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. So little things like that. You can't do that if you are a total plotter, it's just much harder to like, that's the thing. I've seen that a lot where you read books where you see things that were forced in after the fact,
Yeah.
And I think I can say with some confidence, nothing feels that way in my books so far.
Right.
It's not the feedback I've gotten. So, I mean, it's not how it feels when I read it. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
It's still something I fight very hard to avoid, because it can happen, and you never want to force a story.
Right.
It's a hard balance to strike.
Yeah, it is. I think that's a good way to do it, though, because I feel like you need to have the plotting side, because you need to have a structure, right? You need to know kind of where things are going, because you don't want to just be throwing things at the wall where it just all feels random.
Yeah.
But then, if, like you said, if it's too tight and you don't allow things to change or movement, then it just doesn't feel organic or authentic, I feel like. So I think you're doing it the right way, my friend.
Yeah. And loving it. So, hey,
and that's the most important part, right?
Yeah. And that's tough. Sometimes as an author, the further along you get, is you have to, like you have to remember that to have fun with it. It can be strangely fun, but once it kind of turns into a career instead of just a passion,
Right.
and I absolutely believe it's possible to do both, but you have to fight for it. You really have to fight for it.
Right. Yeah. Well, Tim and Alex both agree. Tim said that nothing felt randomly inserted, and Alex says, "Plot the big stuff, wing the small stuff."
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
I like that too. That's good.
Again, not for everyone. I can absolutely see how you could be either extreme.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whatever works for you as a writer. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You kind of figure out your own personality as you go, and I think personality plays a lot into it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which makes for a lot of unique writing styles out there.
Pants it all.
Pants is all.
Miley agrees too. She said, "Starting a book with no idea where it's going is crazy."
Yeah.
Oh geez.
Oh man.
Just came in at random insertions.
Oh gosh.
It's all on the up and up. Don't worry.
Thanks for that, Richard.
Richard. He's always got the quick zingers.
Oh my God, Nick's here. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I figured if Richard is here, we know Nick is already here.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, so I want to go back and talk about some stuff in the past and some dive into a little more of your journey. But before I do need to say or ask. Actually, I need to say something first, then I need to ask something. But I do want to say thank you, because you were one of the first authors and people in this bookish sphere to reach out and say hi to me and chat with me. You've always been so nice and come to all my live streams, even early on when I was just starting doing it and I had no subscribers. Is not helpful to you at all to come to any of my
I disagree. But I mean, I'm at all of your live streams that I know of when I'm not in the shower. Apparently, that seems to be the trend.
That's the trick, right?
That's so funny the other day. But yeah.
But I appreciate it, man. And really, when I mean it when I say it, that I consider you a real friend, and I appreciate you making this journey much easier and welcome me and making it fun. So I just want to say thank you, first of all, for that.
Hey, well, back at you. And I mean, we all love what you do. And this is so much fun, and your videos are so much fun. And you're one of the few people who actually makes YouTube fun to go on. Oh, wow. Because I'm not always there for shorts, and I'm not always there for long form videos unless I kind of know what I'm getting into. But something like the polls that you do and actually engaging with comments, it creates that sense of community on there that I don't find is always available, So that's fun. That's a huge service. And then these chats are awesome because there's always nuggets of gold wisdom. I'm selfish that way. I'm here for the friends. I'm also here for the wisdom. I love listening to other authors and kind of learning from what they do. So when someone like you gives that platform, it's excellent, and I know you're loving it too, learning and growing alongside. And then I'm also biased. So you kind of maybe took advantage of a bit of unfair bias in that regard because you had Bearded Book Beast as a name. So, I mean, that was a given. I see you and I'm like, okay, we're friends instant. Here's my book.
That's right.
Let's talk.
Right. Oh, man. Well, yeah, turn sideways for a minute. Let's look at that sweet beard. Anybody that just saw the thumbnail and hasn't seen Tim in anything like that.
Well, beard. Yeah, I mean, that thumbnail, I think that was 2020. So really, it's only a year and a bit old.
Yeah.
The picture I used for my
beard
profile.
Fast.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I've probably too zealously trimmed this at different points. So right now, as per a dare with Corey Ratliff and Michael Roberti, I'm on a dare right now. We're not allowed to shave again until we publish our next book. Mm-hmm. So that's tough, but I am committed. So this is going to be a monster by the time book 3 comes out or book 2 comes out.
You're going to be like ZZ Top, man. Down past
I think I'm allowed to shave my hair. I think that's allowed. Okay. I mean, this is getting ridiculous at this point. So,
I didn't realize how long your hair was getting too.
Oh, yeah. I've got a full mane. So, yeah. When it's not pressed down by my hat, it's this huge lion's mane on the back of my head. It's wonderful.
That's awesome. Richard, you came in for a little bromance too.
Absolutely.
And then I wanted to say thanks to Richard. Thank you for saying that. I wanted to post that because I think that's important to remember this time of year. People that are feeling alone. Ryan Skeffington's here. What's up? He is about to begin.
That is a life goal. That is absolutely a life goal. So thank you.
Oh man. Heck yeah. Oh no. Richard said I was thinking rescue.
Nope.
No, we don't want that one. We don't want that one. And Senna's here. What's up, Senna? Thanks for being here.
Ithra,
Appreciate it.
always Ithra to me for whatever reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, love it.
And then there was a comment up here that was, this is what I wanted to ask you about. It said, how many keyboards have you smashed? So why don't you tell us, anybody that hasn't seen the video, doesn't know the story, tell the story real quick about the whole keyboard smashing.
So far, it's just the one so far. But, you know, I mean, it's one thing when you're doing jobs where you can get around it, little hiccups, you know. But since I was writing so much at the time, I was really taking the deep plunge into the sequel. You know, about halfway through that first part. So let's say 25,000 words in, I'm on a roll, and suddenly my keyboard starts going haywire. So it was inserting double spaces every time I hit the space bar. It would randomly turn numbers in the middle row. Well, for whatever reason, the middle row would turn into the symbols from the number row. Right. So I'd put A and I get an exclamation mark, or F and I would get a $sign. Like, the heck is happening, you know? And sometimes you're quickly looking down and then looking up and then distracted looking at your notes. So you don't realize you've done some of these things. You look back and you're thinking, excuse me, I know I am not that bad. I know I am not that bad, you know?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. So at some point I just absolutely lost patience, and I genuinely wanted to smash it over my knee. So, but I swear I didn't do this in anger. I just put it over my knee and I bent it a little bit. Yeah. Just to, I don't know, I was trying to shake it in case it's dust or something.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was one last effort. I was trying to do whatever I could to get anything under the keys out. And the way it was made, I couldn't really pop them out like you can on some.
Oh, so, yeah. Right.
Yeah, anyways, so that helped for all of 2 seconds. So the keyboard went back to kind of functioning, weirdly enough, and then it broke. It just went back to actually worse than it was before, and then I said, that's enough. So I thought, okay, I'm smashing this sucker, and then I don't know where the thought came from, but I was like, I'm catching this on video because this is going to be great. So when I posted that first video, I gave a quick explanation of all this, and then I just smashed the heck out of it. You know, look at it, flip it over, smash it more. Keys are flying everywhere. My carpet behind me was just a mess of tattered, plastic and metal, and then someone sees that video, and someone said, fantasy author, you should have used a sword. And I just stared, and I was like, why didn't I think of that? Because I literally have a sword hanging over my desk. And that's what happened with the second video. Is I just said, hey, well, someone said I should do this, so I'm doing it, and I just took it. I only slashed it once. Safety first, goggles on. Distance was safe. I made sure the blade was sturdy. It wasn't going to break out of the hilt. It wasn't going to bend. It wasn't going to send shrapnel back in my face. I did some little test runs on some, like safety first. But oh my gosh, there's nothing more satisfying than taking a Lord of the Rings sword to a keyboard that's been giving you trouble.
Oh, I bet it felt so good.
It was so good.
That was pretty sweet. That was a pretty sweet video. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was very satisfying. I had one summer gig once where it was at the Salvation Army thrift store, and my job for that summer was to help discard of the like furniture and things like that were brought in that were just a little too damaged to sell. So for things that were too big to throw in a disposal, truck or whatever that would come by, my job was to break those things up. So for an entire summer, I got paid to take baseball bats to cabinets, or to just take these things and throw them over my head and watch them smash apart.
Oh, that's amazing. And you got paid for that?
Yeah. This is the only thing in my life that has ever felt better than that, because that was pretty good. But
man, that's like they make places like that you pay to go into now, right? You go into like the fancy China set stage living room, and they give you a weapon of choice, and you just destroy things.
Yeah, I know that catharsis very well.
You do.
So
dang. That's awesome. Shane had a good quote here you could use on one of your books, or on your website or something. Hit my new order goal, or another keyboard gets it.
That's a good one. Man. I like it. See, I feel like people would stop buying my books just to see that happen. So that's true. Dang it. It'd have to be the other way around. Yeah, if you want another keyboard to get it, hit my new order goal. Buy my book right now.
All right. So speaking of books, so you mentioned a few things that you have read before and been inspired by, but let's go all the way back. What do you think was the first first book that really got you to start digging fantasy? Like, what got you into the whole fantasy world? And how old were you? Were you pretty young, or?
I was about 10. I wish I still had the physical copies. I don't. I blame my mom. Honestly, I love her, but I know for a fact she trashed most of our old VHSs.
Okay.
All those Disney kid. I'm talking my whole childhood of VHSs that would now
sell for a lot of money now.
Yeah.
With those cases,
it's all good, Mom. It's all good. But along with a lot of my old books, so I mean, you know, we were moving. I totally I laugh about it.
It happens to us all. Yeah.
But now I look back and I actually rebought some of the books on Kindle because they're still, and I reread them. I reread a whole bunch recently. I was like, these are still good. They still hold up. You know, they're for that age, but they're fun. So if you've ever heard of Del Toro Quest by Emily Rada.
I have not at all.
Yeah, so she's an Australian author. That's her pen name. I always forget her actual name.
Okay.
But they're very, very fun. It's in the name, quest-based books, you know, quest adventure fantasy. You know, excuse me, they're novella length. They're about 25,000 to 30,000 words long. And you know, the initial series was 8 books long. Then she added another 4, I think, then another 3, and then a few spin-offs. Like, there's a lot of books to read in that world. And I remember I would read one of those a night. You know, they brought them at the Scholastic Book Fair for those who've, you know,
Scholastic Book Fair.
It's what gets us all, you know. And I saw those covers as a kid, and I thought, monster. Oh yeah, this looks so cool. Mom, can I have this? You know. And next thing you know, I was reading a book a night, and my mom had to somehow keep up with that, you know.
Oh man, those are the days, right?
Yeah, when I was even younger, she read The Hobbit to me. But I was just a little too young to really care or really process. You know, it was fun. It was a fun experience as a kid, just reading a book. But these Del Toro Quest books were the ones that got me. And I remember by the time I was 12, I was on to Lord of the Rings. I read Lord of the Rings when I was 12.
That's awesome. And
that was a lot of fun. And that's when I really started to branch out to longer books. Family friends would give me books that they had already read.
Okay.
So it kind of started then, and I very quickly branched out. And by the time I was 15, I was just diving into anything you could throw at me, you know.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's a side note. How cool is your mom to have read The Hobbit to you? That's awesome.
Like she's the one. Okay, I kid you not. 10 years old, so it would have been roughly that same year was when, or the same years I read those Del Toro Quest books was when Fellowship came out. Now, my mom, being a Lord of the Rings fan, she thought, "Oh, Tim, you'll love this." But I've never seen someone sell something as bad. So she said to me, "Tim, let's go to this movie. It's my birthday, so you have to come." Because her birthday was right around that time, and she said, "Okay, we're going to a movie, and you're gonna like it. I promise. It's about elves," and I'm thinking Santa's elves, so I already don't care.
Oh yeah, you're.
And then I'm thinking, and it's about magical jewelry. Like there's a ring, and it's magical. And I'm thinking, I don't care about your jewelry, Mom. I really don't care. And like, so I swear she couldn't. I thought I was gonna go see the stupidest movie I've ever heard of.
Santa's elves and a bunch of jewelry. Yeah, that's
in hindsight, how do you so like she could have just showed me a trailer? I don't know.
Anything would have been better than that.
Anything would have been better. So I'm 10 years old, miserable, thinking I'm just getting dragged along to this bad movie, and I'm like, it's my mom's birthday, I'll do it. And then I get there, and that opening.
And then as soon as it starts, you're like, oh, okay, Mom.
You know, and we talked about seeing Bilbo at 10 years old freaked the living hell out of me. I am the kid. I will never forget this because it's so funny when you see Aragorn fighting the Uruk-hai at the very end, you know, the epic showdown. At the very end, he plunges the sword in, you know, the orc pulls him closer, and then he pulls the sword out and slashes his head off, right? 10 years old in the back, I said, "Cool," in exactly that voice. And the whole theater just bursts out laughing. You know, like,
that's awesome.
So that's when my love of fantasy was really entrenched.
That's classic, man. That is awesome. Shoot, if it would have happened nowadays, that would probably be on all over social media and YouTube. Somebody would have been recording it, and they would
hopefully,
kid's voice say "cool." But back then, that didn't work back then.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is awesome. got to give your book cover a shout out again from Senna. She said the book cover is amazing. It is.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, here's I mean, you've got the cooler version that you can show, but this is the proof copy.
You've got the cooler version because it's an actual book.
Yeah. So this is the paperback. Now again, I literally have it open next to me. Let's do a check, a quick refresh.
Still processing.
Still on, yeah. So the ebook is updated online. And I made some tweaks there too. So anyone who read the original ebook, I had it published with spaced paragraphs, even though the print copies didn't have that. Okay. Now the ebook has, tight paragraphs with indents as it should be. I for online reading, I prefer spaced, but for published works, it's a better fit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyways, so I think some people will really enjoy that difference if you're, and I'm going to push the update out. So anyone who bought it in the past will have the updated version.
Oh, good.
The moment I need to wait 72 hours before I can update it for everyone. Okay. But it is live. So anyone who buys it now gets the updated version.
Nice. Very cool.
But then nothing beats physical. So I can't wait for these to be available.
Like that. Oh.
Yeah. The absolute max they say is 72 hours. It's never been longer than 3 hours for me. Never. It's always been, and normally any update I've made has been within an hour. Yeah. So I guess it's a new cover. It's a big change. So I get it.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But still, it just seems odd that it would take that long. Like, I don't understand. I guess I don't get how that behind the scenes for them works, I guess, but
it could be coming on the tail end of holidays, the tail end.
Yeah, maybe it has to do with the holidays. That's true.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, so whatever, I was ready for it. It's okay. It lets me prolong the cover reveal because I get to push it fresh when it comes out. So
that's right. Boom.
These silver lining. Who knows? I don't know. We'll take what we can get. But I have a lot of people saying, when is it coming out? I'm like, I'm sorry. It's coming.
Yeah. Oh man. Did you ever watch Beastmaster?
I can't say. I just bits and pieces, but no, I never really got into it.
I didn't either, but I've heard a lot of people mention that as something back in the day that got him.
My childhood shows, and this was we grew up kind of going through all the little trends, but the main three shows that we would watch almost every night were Pokemon in order: Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball Z. That was
bang boom. Yep.
If my mom was driving home from the other side of town in a snowstorm, it meant I got to watch all three shows before she picked me up from the babysitter. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was always happy when she was late. It's terrible, but it's true.
Oh man.
Don't want to miss the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
No. The Holy Trinity. Oh man.
What about you? Did you have any of those?
Oh man. Well, I guess I never really got into Dragon Ball Z. My son actually was huge into Pokemon. I never was. I don't know why. I don't know if I just barely missed like that. Because I'm a little older. Because how old are you, Tim?
I'm 32, going on 33 now.
Oh yeah, so I'm 41.
Yeah.
So I was a little before that, but my son was huge into it and into Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff. Yeah. So I've watched a lot of it with him. But I think, man, what did I watch when I was big into Ninja Turtles? That was like my
fair. Okay, yeah. See, that was kind of on the edge. That was Ninja Turtles was sadly just starting to lose traction, but we still had a Super Nintendo we would play at the time.
Oh,
so all Ninja Turtles and Super Mario.
Yeah. So I was Nintendo and Sega, and then
classic.
And then what got me into fantasy was Redwall. That was the big one for me.
Yes.
Yeah. Love that. Love those.
Have you chatted with or Isaac Anderson?
I have a little bit. I got his book, which I got it because it made me think of Redwall.
Yeah.
So
it's like a darker Redwall is how it's described.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Pretty sweet. Yeah. Have you another one that is like a darker Redwall is The Builders? It's a novella by Daniel Polanski. Have you heard of that?
I don't think so. No.
It's kind of a mix of Redwall and like Magnificent Seven, like a Western.
Okay. Yeah, that could be fun.
With animals. Yeah,
I've only read a few Westerns ever, and I kind of want to branch out a little more and grab some. There are some really fun-looking Westerns and kind of the grimdark fantasy scene. There's some I need to pick up for sure.
I agree. Oh man! So speaking of reading, I've seen some of your posts and stuff. You still get a lot of books in, which is awesome. So do you find time with all your jobs and writing? Do you still find time to read?
I carve out time every night as often as I can. But so it really depends on the book. Some books I blast through in a few nights, and some take me a whole month. The last book I read, freaking Curse of the Mistwraith by Jenny Wirtz.
Oh man,
that took me like a solid 2 months.
That's a beast of a book.
Oh yeah, it's like I've read all the Wheel of Time books. Those are those average on the low end 650 pages, and their average is like 800 to 1,000. You know, I have no problem with long books, but that is the densest long book I have ever read. Like, a little too much so for me, but great content, some really beautiful lines, some really beautiful prose. But I can't do it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's on the edge for me for sure. Like anything, like because I have so many good books I want to get to, anything that takes me that long to read just hurts my soul, because I'm like, I know this better be good.
It's so hard to not like just want to go to something else. Do you just focus on one book at a time, or you?
I have to. I really do. Like with this one,
I envy that, man.
You go back and forth.
I go back and forth, and it's like I feel like that works for me, but then really when I look back, I think, well, it took me, a month to read these 2 or 3 books, when really if I focused on one, I probably could have gotten done quicker. I don't know.
Times I've tried to do multiple, that's what happens. Is it it makes me scattered, so it takes me longer to get back into the other book because And I talk to authors who say this too, right? Where if you're reading someone else's book while you're writing, sometimes it bleeds in. And I find that I do find there are ways to avoid that, so that doesn't really worry me. But I get it, because when I'm reading multiple books, it bleeds like crazy.
Oh yeah,
keeping the ideas separate is so hard. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. I try to, if I do it, when I do it, I try to do it like separate genres, like maybe a sci-fi and a fantasy, or a thriller or horror. Because if I read too many similar fantasy books at once, then it's like, wait, was that character in this one? It gets it all mixed up in my head. So that's good though, man. And I see you read a lot of indie stuff too, which is awesome.
Very new for me. I mean, the last few years, but there's such good content in indie. Stuff. It's a lot of fun. So I like seeing what's out there.
So two questions. What would you say is your favorite author, or more than one or two, a couple? And what's your favorite book or series, would you say?
Like all together, together. Okay, well, it's always, I'm going to put it between a close 3. But my absolute top book, the series is there. Where's the first one? Here. My absolute favorite book is this one here. So it's called Taliesin by Stephen R. Lawhead. And the series itself, I've got the older books here, just to give an idea. So the second book is Merlin.
Okay.
And that should tell you kind of the series is Arthurian legend.
Okay.
But it's very much historical fantasy fiction.
Okay.
It's tied in with Roman history, the Romans in Britain. It's tied in with Celtic history and Celtic lore. Okay. A little bit of mythology thrown in, but not Greek gods or anything like that. Just some things that I don't spoil anything. It's just very rich, very like this is on the border for me too, but I love it.
Nice. Okay.
Just very beautiful writing, beautiful storytelling. Yeah.
Okay.
So this would be number 1 for that perfect blend, And then I love Count of Monte Cristo and Les Mis. Those are the other 2.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool. Okay.
And those are chunky. You want to talk about chunky books?
For sure.
When I say Les Mis, I'm talking unabridged. So I'm talking 1,100 something.
You're wild, man.
Yeah, it's and he doesn't hold back either. None of the rules applied. So I think there's one part where he goes on, and I counted. It's a solid 100-page rant.
What?
Where it's just Victor Hugo sharing his opinion in the middle of his story. It's really
for 100 pages.
Yeah, and I pushed through it, but you have to push a little bit, but it's worth it.
You gotta be in it.
Yeah.
Oh dang, that's impressive.
Yeah, so not something I would ever do in my own writing, but it's my favorite.
Yeah, right.
It's one of my favorite.
No, I don't. Yeah, that probably wouldn't go so well today, right?
No, there's a lot you can't get away with anymore.
Very true. Yeah, they could get away with a lot more back then, for sure. Yeah. Very cool. What about like video games? Are you a gamer at all?
A little. It's always come and gone for me, so there's been phases in my life. Going back to childhood, absolute king of games for me will always be Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Ooh, nice.
That was my first game. Like, I had played other video games at friends' houses or at the babysitters, Super Nintendo. But my first system was an N64. And
Nice.
my first game was Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Oh,
And just nothing will ever, for me, nothing will
always
ever.
going to be top. So
Yeah. So part of me just wants to buy a Switch now, just so I can play it again on the
Yes.
Switch, because they made it available, right?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I probably will. I intend to cave. I intend to cave soon.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah. So buy my books. It will fund my Zelda.
Get the Switch. Yeah. Well, and they're getting ready to have a Switch 2 come out soon. So once that comes out, I'm sure the first one will plummet in price.
Yeah,
you know?
which I mean, to me would be nice as long as the things I want are available on it. I don't mind. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, they have the Switch Lite, which is, I mean, you can't play it with the TV, but if you're going to do handheld, that one's even cheaper.
Yeah,
like
which to me I think is all I would need right now. I have an Xbox One as well, so I'm set up on the TV anyway.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, so on that, like Skyrim, awesome. Mass Effect.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely love the Mass Effect games.
Yeah.
And then an oldie but a goodie too would be kind of in between, but would be Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, heck yeah.
For anyone who ever played that is to me another top one. That very underrated, you know.
Very underrated. Yeah.
Clearly not that underrated because they made the Old Republic MMO, you know.
True.
But like, just so many people just don't know it
or don't know what it is. Yeah. Maybe at the time it wasn't really underrated, probably, but nowadays, I mean, it's kind of gotten left in the dust a little bit.
Yeah, so you don't hear about it really, and those like 2 kind of dropped off a little bit on some of the story, but it was a fantastic game all the same. But 1, that reveal, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
I know.
That was just so beautifully done. You just don't. I don't know. I didn't see it coming. I really did. It was so good, you know.
Oh, it was such good stuff. And then they had all the books and the comics and everything out with it.
This whole world just
pretty
grew
sweet
out of
time. Yeah, for sure. Oh,
so
that was awesome. Oh man,
good times.
I know. They still make them like that anymore. I mean, they probably make stuff that's really good like that, but not like
it's hard to find, you know. And maybe we don't know until after the fact. And yeah. But no, it feels. I mean, some of that's just nostalgia, but some of that is those were good games.
They were. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
very awesome. Let's see. I think that was all I wanted to ask you about that.
No, video games. Yeah, I can't think of. Those would be the main ones. It'd be Zelda, be KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, be Skyrim. You know. A little bit of Witcher, but not as much. I like Witcher, but it's just not as much my scene. Very good game, just not my.
Not your jam. That's fine.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. I don't know. I like the diversity of the monsters and the lore. You know, gameplay not always my favorite, so that's kind of why.
If they were gonna make a game of your book, what kind of game would be the best fit for it? You think?
I mean, it would be cool to have kind of a Zelda style.
Yeah,
you know?
I was going to say, since you like Zelda, I feel like that would be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I kind of there's this is the only thing in it that really reminds me of Zelda, really. But there's it gets introduced in the third part. It's more significant, funny enough, in the second book now. But there's one. Tribe is the wrong word for them. One of the nations, they have this class of warrior called Kosas or Kosans, and they use these weapons called Karosas that are kind of like, funny enough, similar hilt to what I showed from that Lord of the Rings sword, but they have blades like a katana. Whereas what I showed is more like a saber, like that Lord of the Rings sword was designed. They even describe it this way as a cavalry saber, like what you see Napoleon holding, or from like that era. Whereas I had in mind this curved hilt, blade going the other way, but like very much like a katana, but two-handed, long enough to pack some punch, but balanced, an actually balanced sword. So this class of warrior, they use these Karosa swords, and they use Kathrangs, which are really bladed boomerangs. And for whatever reason, while I was writing those, it made me think of the boomerang in Ocarina of Time, Zelda. And I'm like, I'm just picturing these characters throwing these boomerangs and going crazy. Anyways, it's great.
That's awesome.
So, that was one little nostalgia point for me in my books. That was a call out to Zelda a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Alex says put his MC in a green tunic, and his mom read it. She calls him Link.
That's awesome.
That's awesome that his mom knows who Link is.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. My
pretty good.
parents, if I described video games for more than 2 minutes to them, they're like, "Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Go have fun."
Yeah, right. Exactly. Uh, I remember when I was a kid, my brother had a Nintendo, and he was huge into Zelda on that. And I remember when I finally got a little bit older and started getting into it, my mind was blown. I always thought Link's name was Zelda. I didn't realize that was like not his name.
It took me a little bit too. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
you think he's the man. They do,
Yeah.
they do that well. Yeah. Once you actually clue in that it's Princess Zelda.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Okay.
oh, yeah, I get it now.
Yep. Yep.
I'm
Well,
glad it wasn't just me.
I think all of us went through that for sure. I think
Oh
a
yeah.
good number of us went
Yeah.
through that for
Well, yeah,
sure.
you see everything with him on the cover and it says Zelda. You just think that's him.
Yep. And eventually you find out not his story, which is interesting. Anyways, yeah.
What about comics or manga? Have you ever read any of that or gotten into any of that?
Not as a little bit, but no, not that much.
Okay.
Yeah, I have enjoyed some comic books. I've read some fun DC stuff. I'll always be I do enjoy a good Batman story.
Nice, me too.
I love the Christopher Nolan trilogy. I
Yep.
love the Arkham City games.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those games are great.
Those are good games.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah. Those to me are peak Batman right there.
Oh, they are, man.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I played that, just like making him like stand still and like zooming the camera around.
Yes.
Like, gosh, this looks so sweet.
Yeah. Like I mean, my favorite will always be Arkham City. To me, there were elements of Arkham Knight that were really good. There were some parts of Origin that I wish it was still possible to get that game. There were some parts of that were really well done.
Oh yeah,
but City was just that.
So good.
The visuals, the character, the reading. It's just so good.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, the spins and the storytelling. I love anything that whether it's a video game or a movie or a book. Anything that can immerse you from multiple directions and hold you. Right.
Oh yeah.
So that blend of character, but also plot and story and visuals. When I'm reading a book, I want to see it. I want to feel it. I want to smell it. I want to taste it. Give it to me from every direction and make it so that I don't even just overload my senses and I'm sold.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and to me, Dark Knight 2.
Yeah, Dark Knight 2. Yeah.
But Arkham City was just one of those. That was a hard game to put down.
Oh yeah, it was. What do you think about James Gunn stuff? Are you excited about
the Superman trailer? Yeah, I'm excited. The second, because he did all 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, right? Yeah. So the second one was the only one I was kind of about overall. I think most people have kind of agreed with that.
Yeah.
The first I loved, absolutely loved. It was hilarious. It was so much fun. It had that perfect blend. It had such good music and such good humor and just a light tone, and it did something new with the comic movie world.
For sure.
And I loved the third one.
Oh
my gosh, it really did a good job. Kind of tying off some of those ends and. Just very satisfying and on a more mature level too, but still keeping that humor, still keeping the music, So I think he can pull it off.
Yep, me too.
Elements of the trailer, I thought some of it looked maybe too busy, too much thrown in. That's always the worry with these comic movies.
I know.
Like too many new characters and too much going on, and I just want to see Superman beat Lex Luthor up.
You're hoping that they're part of it, but not like too big of a part of it.
Yeah. But that said, it looks. I'm sorry, I saw it and I thought this looks good.
I agree. Yeah, I'm excited. And then, have you heard what he's doing with Batman? Like what his version of Batman will be?
I don't think so. No, that's new.
So I'm excited. He's going to be established and older, and they're going to do Batman and Robin. I think Robin is actually going to be Damian Wayne, which is his son.
Yeah,
Robin in it. So that means already Dick Grayson and Jason Todd and Tim Drake will all be established already in it. So that's pretty sweet. The Bat family will be a part of it. So
those are the comics I actually wanted to read of the Damian Wayne, because I'm that's he's the son of Talia, right?
Yeah.
That's, I want to see that.
That's a pretty good run. Yeah. It's good. It's very well done. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So that I'm looking forward to. That would be fun.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what it'll do. We'll see what happens, but
yeah. I'm optimistic. That's the thing. There's some new things that come out and you're just like, this is going to be bad, and then it is, and some surprise you, and then some are really terrible. Oh, and Tim Wolf just okay, but come on, you know what? There are parts of it I really don't like, but Titans has some good moments, and
Oh, yeah.
I like
agree.
Nightwing and Titans. I
Yeah,
was
I
actually
like
pretty
his
satisfied.
character in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that show it started off really good and promising, and then I feel like it kind of tried to do too much and get too weird and fancy. But like I feel like those early episodes were really good. That first
Oh
season.
yeah, yeah.
I agree.
First season overall, I thought was, and it frankly, is it the last? I think it is. It's the last episode of that first season. To me, is one of the most satisfying moments in comic book history.
Yeah.
Dark alternate world where Batman goes bad, and I've never been so happy in my life. Like, that was so good. It made me happy on so many levels.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, Batman Beyond would be awesome, but yeah, the right person, you never know. But Batman Beyond was that was a sweet cartoon back in the day.
That was a good cartoon for sure.
Oh man,
yeah, I feel like I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't trust them to do.
I know. It'd take someone would have to prove they can make a really sweet movie before I would trust them with that. But
I felt like I watched it for the effects and the excitement less than the story, whereas most other Batman stuff, you're watching it for the story. So that's why I would be more worried. They would just have no story and focus on
for sure.
Yeah.
Cinna says Constantine too. They talked about that for a lot. Is it? I don't know if it's actually still happening.
I think it is still technically in the works. It's just no idea when it's coming. But
Constantine's awesome too.
That was so good. I love that movie. Keanu Reeves. I love it.
Good. Oh yeah, he's awesome. So good. Let's see.
Old Man
Bruce was the best. Yes, that was pretty awesome.
That is true.
Man. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say you were mentioning not anime but manga and stuff. I haven't branched out from comics too much, but I have enjoyed some anime, not much.
Okay.
I had one roommate in college who was obsessed with Light and Kira, Death Note.
Oh yeah, Death Note. Yeah.
So I went through a Death Note phase just by proxy because it was always on in the room. And then I went through a Full Metal Alchemist phase, big time. I loved. That was good.
Full Metal Alchemist is sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So those would be my top animes, I think. So clearly a darker bent. I do have a darker side for sure.
I do too. Yeah. So you've never read or watched any Berserk then?
No.
Oh, if you like the dark, that you should do that. That one is good. Yeah, you should do that one.
Yeah, Berserk.
It's dark. It's good. Vinland Saga is really good too. That's a good one to watch too. Jeremy's in here. What's up, man? Thanks for being here.
Jeremy.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Adult Swim tour.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's funny.
Adult Swim, man, they had some good stuff for a while there. They had some funny things. Did you ever watch? What was that really? I can't remember the name of it. It was really raunchy. It was a comedy, and it had like food that had like human faces and talked and stuff. Gosh, what was it called? I can't remember. If anybody else watched
a show or a movie or
it was a TV show on Adult Swim. It was I can't remember what it was called. We'll move past that. Okay. See, I've read the manga. I haven't watched any of the anime yet, but that's good to know. Oh yeah, there it is. Tim's got it. Aqua Team Hunger Force. Yes. Yeah, nope. Oh, that was funny, but really, really crude.
Fair.
But so good, so good. Oh man,
missed that one apparently. But
it's worth looking up someday if you just want to watch something ridiculous that's not going to enrich your life at all.
I need that every once. I mean, yeah, the flip side. I like dark stuff, and then I need some. And I think my humor is definitely, I like good, dry, sarcastic humor. I like old man dad jokes gone wrong. Like right now I'm addicted to dad jokes on YouTube.
I love those when they like try to stay serious and go back and forth.
Especially when the contest is like they have to take a drink. If
I love it. I love that stuff. Yeah. I feel like one of the best ones I ever saw was when all the Daddy's Home movies were coming out. Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell did those back and forth. Yeah,
I just saw that for the first time, honestly, weeks ago. It was very recent. I saw that and I thought, how did I miss this?
I
know.
It
was so funny.
Those two are so just dead, trying to stay dead.
It was very satisfying. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Mark Wahlberg is an actor who I feel like I didn't appreciate enough earlier, and now I love
same.
him. I
Me too.
really
Yeah.
like Mark
He's
Wahlberg.
got such a range. Like he
Yeah.
can do serious stuff, he can do action, he can do comedy, like
Yeah.
and he's good at all of it. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like he's really, I think part of it is he's grown into his own, but I
Yeah.
think he just had older works that I was just unaware of that are
Yeah.
really good, you know?
Yeah. I
He's
agree.
very talented.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So
He is. I agree. Well, shoot, man, it's been an hour and 20 minutes already. That's
so we're doing
insane.
good. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Right?
Another hour, another 2. I've got time. Yeah.
I could actually all night, man, because this has been fun.
This has been a blast. Absolutely.
But I did just upstairs. My setup is in the basement in the storage room, so I can always hear upstairs. I just heard my wife get home and say, Chris, and then ask the kids, where's your dad? Oh, he's doing one of his interviews. And then I picture her
That's
being
how
like,
you know it's time.
why is he not up here yet? Oh man. But anyway, dude, this was so much fun. Thanks for coming on. Definitely want to do it again, especially when book 2 comes out, or just anytime, because this was a lot of fun. So thanks again. I appreciate it, man.
Anytime. But I'll keep you posted when the next one is coming out. It's probably going to be a year. Well, the audiobook is in the works though, and that will hopefully be much, much sooner. I'm 2/3 of the way through recording that.
Okay.
And that I'm doing myself, which has been fun.
Nice.
You know,
sounded like that.
Yeah, I'm aiming for like a blend of performative, but it's far more. I'm treating it as an author reading. You know. Yeah, so I'm hoping eventually to get a more professionally. I say professionally. I have a high quality, mic. I'm using good editing software. Yeah. I'm having a lot of fun, putting a lot of time into it. But so I mean, like I'm loving what I'm hearing. I've passed samples around. I passed a sample to Sina Ithra there. So like initial vibes from people are it's going to be hopefully tolerable. But that will hopefully come out. I'm hoping. Just knowing how things have been going, and I'm going to be teaching 2 courses this coming semester. It's probably going to be mid-February. Okay. So another month, 1 to 2 months from now.
That's not bad. Yeah. That's good, man. Yeah. Well, send me a little sample. I want to hear this.
Absolutely. You know what? I'll send you. I'll send you the opening chapter and see what you think.
Awesome. I feel like you would do great doing audio, man. I think that's cool that you're doing it.
I think we all at different points hate our own voice, and then I've kind of gone through phases where I like it, and then I've kind of I actually took some not full vocals lessons, but I got some moderate coaching at one point, which is kind of fun. I just did for fun to learn some of the because my sister, funny enough, was doing. I didn't realize we got to go, but this is a fun. I don't know. I've noticed people who have actually taken full vocals training for singing. Yeah. You could hear it in their voice when they're talking casually, right? For sure. So I'm nowhere near that level, but I like when I'm actually thinking about it and using those techniques, making your voice resonate, pauses at certain moments, fluctuation. When you tap into some of that, it can be, I think even the average person can do a lot with their voice you don't realize.
Right. Yeah.
So now keeping that balance when you're immersed in your own story, you're like, oh, this happened to this.
Not trying to not go crazy, right?
Yeah, it's hard. So I try to keep myself at a balanced pace that can be anyways, but I'm asking for some grace, treat it like an author reading, pretend we're at the bookstore. You're at my feet. I'm reading my story to you and see what you think,
Yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, I know there's a lot of audiobooks that are like a big production now and stuff with all that, but I feel like it's cool when the author themselves does it, Yeah. I think that's cool. I like when I see that.
So. I wish it was more of an option. It feels taboo, When I've hinted at doing it on X, I get a lot of flack, like, don't you dare. And I'm like, I'm not listening to you, No,
it's better than not having one because they're so expensive,
Yeah, and I get why they are. I really do. Editing costs, and a lot of the things that cost a lot. It makes sense. It is a lot of time and effort. It's a lot of professional skills you have to develop to do it. So I get it. But I mean, for a 170,000 word book, that's a lot of cash to fork out.
That is, man. You got a beastly book for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I just spent all this on illustrations and on copies for people and new cover. I've invested a good amount for now. Let's see how sales go, and we can talk about that kind of audio
down the road. Future Tim can worry about that.
Yeah, but for now, the big news is the new cover is here. I say here, but as of an hour and a half later, it's still in review.
By the time we all wake up in the morning.
Yeah, that is my hope. I am hoping tomorrow I can post and say it's here. Go buy my book.
Yes. So there will be links in the description after this. I'll put them in there, but don't buy it yet. Wait
Yeah.
until it's for sure. Keep an eye on Tim's social media. I'll also share out I'll repost when he says that it's up and available.
If you want a
So
taste of the story, for now it's on Kindle Unlimited, and then that'll let you know. And then you can, if you like what you see, you can buy the physical copy tomorrow or whenever it comes out.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Shane says, "Can't wait to hear you do the spicy scenes."
Spicy scenes.
Oh man,
so funny.
Oh, and Tim just gave me a great idea for a future live stream. I should have a bunch of you guys on and just do a little hangout and karaoke. That would actually be pretty funny.
That'd be pretty ridiculous, but pretty fun.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Timothy, you're definitely gonna have to do it now, man. So
it's good.
This is his idea.
What have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, exactly. The Tims will both have to do it. You guys will have to do a duet. What's the song gonna be?
That'd be so bad. I'm pre-scarred. I'm like scarred in advance, just imagining. Just oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh man. Oh, that reminds me. I knew there was something I forgot. I wanted to ask you about music. Like, so two sides to it. One, do you listen to music while you write? And then another, like, what's your favorite kind of music? What are some of your favorite artists? That kind of stuff. I almost forgot.
Yeah. Like listening, I find I need silence. I've tried. I even when I'm focusing on some other kinds of work, I'll throw on instrumental music.
Okay.
And that helps, but
without words, it depends
on the type of work, right? Sometimes even that is too much. And with writing, I need to be in what they describe as flow state, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I need that for the writing to really click. Okay. And music just totally disrupts it, just totally takes me out of it, Okay. And I love some of it. If I really, when I will use music is to pump myself up for the right context. So I will throw on something like, the soundtrack from Batman Begins, right? Oh, yeah. Some good Hans Zimmer music in the background before you're getting into a really epic scene. I'll do that, and then I'll turn it off once I'm in flow, and I'll be like, now it's me. Now I've got it from here.
Take it from here.
Yeah, I'm picturing my own soundtrack for the movie for these books later.
Nice. There you go.
But then listening to my own music, like what I listen to in my own time, I'm not that diverse, like I enjoy some fun stuff here and there, and some, I think more in recent years I've gotten a bit more of a taste for like metal and stuff, just hanging out with people who like it. Me on my own time, funny enough, I got a little bit into guitar for a few years. Didn't get too good. Got into harmonica. For whatever reason, I love playing a harmonica, but just for kicks and giggles, I'm not that good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, I love music. But what I tend to listen to, I just put on something slow and casual, so jazz or some indie pop songs, and I'll have that in the background while I'm on a long drive, and that's heaven to me. That's all I need from my music is something to just get lost in. I'm having my daydreams. I'm thinking of my next book scene.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I'm not too diverse in my music interests, unfortunately.
Hey, that's okay. You don't have to be. You just have to like what you like.
Yeah. Can you do the Piano Man harmonica parts? I've tried. I'm not that good yet.
Oh, what's the craziest song you can do on your harmonica?
I used to be able to do most. Like I had fun playing anything I could hear. So I would figure out the notes. I would look them up, and I would learn to play and do riffs based on video games, based on Lord of the Rings music, Batman. The fun things like that. So the fun ones would be like all the Zelda songs from Ocarina of Time, all the Lord of the Rings songs.
Okay.
Some jazz bits that I know. There's some really fun jazz bits. Some people will love this movie. Some people hate it. A lot of people won't know it, but if you've seen August Rush,
and that sounds familiar.
Really good music movie. Like it's just beautiful.
I'll look it up later. I feel like I've seen it. What's it about?
It's about a musical prodigy, like this little boy.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it. I know what you're talking about.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And there's one song in it that appears very briefly, and it's a guy playing it on the harmonica. It's Robin Williams' character is actually playing it on the harmonica at a really pivotal moment in the movie. Yep. And I just remember hearing it the first time I saw the movie and being like, I love this song. I want to know this song. I want to play this song. I think that's actually possibly when I got my harmonica
into it.
That's yeah. So I can play that song, or I used to. I haven't done it in a while, but just things like that, Yeah.
Is the harmonica up in your Magic Mary Poppins?
On my bookshelf, actually. I've got. Let's see. I've got my my two C's, a G, and an A harmonica here.
Yeah, man, you are into harmonica.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you have to be. You know?
Hold on, don't put those away yet. You gotta play us something now.
Oh hell no!
Come on, man.
No, I mean no. How
about when we do
the other day?
When we do our karaoke night?
It hasn't been a while, but yeah, you know what? Sure, there we go. No, it's a nice casual instrument for fun, and once
that's cool.
Some of it is tough. You really have to learn how to bend certain notes, and the technique for that is tricky to learn initially.
How do you do if you have all those different noted ones? How do you play? Like, do you have to play them together somehow?
No, it's more like
that only goes in one note.
Well, so for example, if I was playing, now I've never done this, but this is what you would do. If I was playing with a band and we're playing a song in the key of G, right?
Okay.
It depends. With the harmonica, I think that would be a C, or I forget which one. So it doesn't correspond by the letter. But the point is, for one song, you would pull out your C harmonica, and for the next song, you would pull out your G harmonica. Right? You're forced. It has a limited.
It's not all within like the same song where you're having to like quick.
Yeah. So no, you can generally play a single song on a single harmonica.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the general rule.
This is what I love about these, man. I always find out just something wild every time about somebody that I did not have any idea about.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I'm very casual with my interest in playing music. I used to, I don't know.
The guy that just pulled out like 7 harmonicas.
I had to have them, I don't know. It was for learning purposes. I couldn't follow along if I didn't have the right ones. I don't know. Yeah, that's but you have to. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. All right,
it's a very fun instrument to play. It's such that bluesy sound.
Oh yeah, I think it sounds awesome. I think everybody's had one at some point and then given up when they couldn't figure it out. I always loved to play them. I don't know how, but I just love the thought of being able to play them.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I mean, that's the thing is I can go back to it casually any day. I do every once in a while just for fun. Sometimes you know what? Sometimes that does more for me than the Hans Zimmer. When I'm trying to write, get into the right emotional zone, so to speak. Like if I'm writing a really heavy scene. Sometimes pulling out the harmonica and playing a nice blues grass gets you right in the zone.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. All right, one more question. I got to know. I've always wondered about the hat. When did the hat start? Has it always been the same kind of hat? Like
I have a few of kind of the same style. And
it looks awesome, but it's just like you. I couldn't imagine you without it.
It's like at this point, it's like attached to my identity. It's really fun, and some of that's intentional. It's like I got to keep it brand. I'm trying to remember when this was. The hair story, just for me in general, the very condensed version. I always used to keep my hair very short, very one style for my whole life.
Yeah, and
very condensed story is for a dare. Someone dared me to cut my hair like a monk. So I had bald on top and a ring, of hair. Yeah. And I wore a monk garb and like, there's a whole other hilarious.
Straight up dare? It wasn't like you lost a bet or like.
No, it was a dare. We were watching. A few friends and I were watching the A-Team, the newer one with Liam Neeson and oh come on. Anyways, now I have to remember. Come on, some of the other actors. Jessica Biel.
I know. I can't even remember now for some reason.
It's gonna kill me. It's got a great cast. It's a really funny movie. I love that movie.
Yeah.
And at one point, it's not Mr. T who plays the character anymore, but one of my friends dares another guy in our group to hey Brandon, you should cut your hair like Mr. T, and he's like, okay. He's kind of that character, kind of guy, where he would just say yes to anything, and then in this goofy-go-lucky, and so we did it on the spot. We gave him a mohawk on the spot, and it looked terrible. It was super funny. Then someone turns to me and says, "Hey Tim, you're next," and I said, "Oh, you know what? Okay, how about this? If I do that now, it's gonna look like I'm just imitating. Everyone's gonna know Brandon did it first. I'm just give me a creative, fresh idea, and I promise you I will do it on the spot." So everyone said, okay, we'll come back to you. So we click play on the movie, and 5 minutes later, the friend of mine who was sitting behind me leans forward, head by my ear, and says, "Friar Tuck."
Oh gosh, how the heck did he even think of that?
No idea, but I said yes on the spot, and we did it on the spot.
Oh my god!
Took a trimmer, and then the next day we took Bic razors and made it even, like to the scalp.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Do you have pictures of this?
I think on my phone, I might have found one more recently, and I
man.
have it on my phone. It's very old. It looks so bad. It's not even the best. I wish I could find a better one, but yeah. I looked, by the time I was back in normal clothes instead of the monk getup, I looked like an old man. It was really funny. Yeah. So long story short, okay, so that's the very, and then from there, a very short story is after that, I started getting more adventurous with my hair, and I started, doing different things with it, different styles. Then I started growing it out. And then once it hits a certain length, you realize, oh crap, this flies everywhere in the wind and it does all this crazy, stupid stuff. So I started wearing different hats or earphones to hold it in place almost all the time, like anything I could do, because at some point it just got so long, it was uncontrollable. And then eventually I just found the perfect style hat, and it keeps the hair back and flowing.
Heck yeah, that looks awesome, dude.
From there, it was just, now I can't go back.
I mean, with like the hair, the beard, the glasses, the hat, it's just...
Yeah, it's perfect. At this point, it's the look for sure. Yeah.
It looks awesome, man. That's not what I would have guessed. I thought it was I just like hats.
No, there was a whole progression. It was like, it ultimately comes down to, I'm a lazy bastard who doesn't want to wear a man bun. Okay, that's what it is. It is, this hat is the only thing that keeps this hair out of my face.
Yeah. Well, it looks sharp too, so it works out.
It's so good. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is I found one that I think just fits my personality, fits me,
Yeah, it is. It's good. That's the.
But now, unfortunately, all the people, like, I used to resist being called a hipster, but now I really can't. I mean, these glasses, this hat, I mean, yeah, I've gone to the dark side. So.
Yeah, no turning back now.
Nice coffees and scotch, and anyways, I've fallen. I realize that, I'll repent eventually, but that's where I'm at now.
No need to repent.
Ryan's comment earlier was gold, though. If I just give this a pointy top and grow the beard out a little more and get something like Gandalf is on the way. Okay,
it is true. Yeah,
I'm starting to get white hairs. I really am. So,
like wizard staff or something, though.
Yeah, that's the goal. The goal is a full-on. To me, I'm like, this is the perfect time. No, it's not the perfect time. It's the perfect. My life could not be on a better path for my appearance, because I'm like, fantasy author who's starting to look like Gandalf. This is a dream,
The more you write, the more you look like Gandalf. There we go.
That's it right there.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, okay. So
there we go.
One more thing. On that note, we're gonna end it here because I could talk to you all night. Oh,
yeah. This was glorious. This was a lot of fun. That's awesome. I love it.
That is awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh man. So thanks again, dude. This has been so much fun. We'll definitely do it again. Everybody, thanks for being in the chat. You guys were awesome. And like I said, I'll put links in the chat. I'll put links in the description, but don't buy it yet. Keep an eye on my account and Tim's, and he'll let us know when it's ready. If you want to buy a physical copy, if you want to buy a new book, you're good to go. But awesome. Do you want to say anything else? Any other information or plugs or anything you want to say before we go?
I think you got the goodies. The book will, it's available now on Kindle Unlimited and ebook, and otherwise the hardcover and paperback, US price. I mean, so the price is, everything else is based on the price, but paperback will be available for $13.99 US, and hardcover will be available for $20.99 once it goes live. So hopefully that'll be late tonight or early tomorrow. That's the big stuff right now. Yeah, if you like, dark adventure fantasy with some humor, some horror, some dark twists, and sci-fi flair, as I've heard it called, and I like that. I think that fits. Then Fall of Selvandrea is the book for you. And just thanks to you, Chris. This has been an absolute blast. Beard buddies for life, and I'm grateful to be here.
Same, my friend. All right. Well, we'll see you guys later. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Until I see you in the next one, as I always say, devour your TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see you guys. Have a good night. Thanks for being here.